David, how's it going, man? Good morning. Good afternoon for you. Cooking up some spam noodles. Nice, nice. You guys got spam over there? I think I've only had spam once, man. I know it's popular everywhere, but it's never been popular like in my house. I know that it's popular in a lot of homes, but definitely not in my household. All right, TikTok is live. YouTube is live, I think. Let's see, did I miss that? Poor man's meat. I kind of think of it as like, I don't think it's poor man's meat. I kind of think of it as lunch meat. All right, so this chat isn't working for whatever reason. So let me start that over. Yeah, I consider it just lunch meat. What do you do? Do you fry it up and like dice it up? Dice it up and fry it up? Air fried. Got it. I would I mean, I've had it a couple times, and the way that I cooked it is I cut it up into cubes, fried it up, and then put it in eggs. Like an omelet, you know? I look at it as lunch meat though. You know, thick ass lunch meat. You want to try new friend slop game? Basically, you need to fish and trick shot them. On this account, no, but at some point, yeah, for sure. On my gaming account. Buy me Minecraft. Isn't Minecraft free? What's your info? Digital velocity. I'm on PS. Yeah, send me your banking and routing information. Yeah, and your mother's maiden name. No, I'm gonna need your social security number. I gotta make sure you're not a robot. Amit, what's up, Amit? How are you? Which lens for the which? Ashley, what's up, Ashley? Which lens is best for the Canon R8? It depends on what you're doing, Ashley. What kind of stuff do you do? I love the Canon R8, by the way. This is the Canon R8 right here. Gaming or photography talk? Somebody was just asking for a free video game. I do have a new PS5 that I needed to give away. There we go. You got a brand new keyboard too, in case somebody needs that. Let's see. I wonder why my chat's not working. Let's see. No, USA only. Digital Velocity Gaming. Let's go check at your account. Let's go look at your account. Let's see if you're worthy. So you have 38 followers and 1 video. Yeah, you don't qualify. You don't even have a bio, bro. Yeah, you definitely don't qualify for any giveaways. Is my chat? No, my title is all good. What's up, everybody in TikTok world? How's it going? How's it going? I thought you were for real for a second. Yeah, I still haven't set up my stuff yet. I did get a bunch of free stuff yesterday too. I got that new Insta360 thing. What are the criteria for a good giveaway? Although I would prefer a camera giveaway. You got to be in the United States. You got to be in the USA, US of A. When I do giveaways, they're going to be for United States, the continental, the continuous. What is it called? When the 48, the lower 48, I guess I'll say. Yeah, the lower 48. Oh, I'm in Canada. Yeah, we're in a trade war with you guys right now, so definitely Canada does not qualify. Prize and kangaroo. David, those are choices you're making, bro. Those are choices that you're making. I told you, man, no cap. If you were in the United States, bro, you would have had my extra bags, my extra webcams, my extra mics. For sure. For sure. But in terms of giveaways, I guess I've never really thought about it. It would have to be, in order to do giveaways in the United States, everybody has to be able to participate for free. So in order to participate in a giveaway in the United States, to follow FCC rules is you can't charge people for the giveaway, and everybody has to be able to participate. I can set the rules and stuff in terms of who qualifies for it, in terms of, but those are some of the restrictions. It has to be free to enter, and everybody has to be able to participate. For some reason, it's not working. What do you think about the rolling shutter on the R7? You know, somebody's asked me about that. People have asked me about the rolling shutter. I never experienced any rolling shutter, and I had the R7. I recently sold it. I had the R7 for a long time, and I never really played any mind to it. It must be the different type of photography that I do. You know, I'm not really doing like sports photography, fast moving subject like all my R7, and plus I'm also not like whip panning. You know what I mean? But I guess it just depends on the type of. Like, I never saw any rolling shutter. And also, the R7, in my opinion, isn't really like, you know, it's a professional camera. It's like at the very entry level of like a professional camera. But if you're looking and you're concerned with that, with rolling shutter, then you need to be buying a nicer camera. Something with a, what is it? You need a stacked sensor, right? Do you only shoot with Canon? No, I got a Sony and a Fuji and DJI and Insta360 cameras. Razvan, thank you for the heartbeat. Appreciate it. Hello, hello. How are you? How are you? don't know why my YouTube is not kicking on today. But what's everybody up to in the TikTok world? Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm thinking about the R8 and I have some APS-C lenses. Okay, cool. The R8 is sick. Actually, you know what? That reminds me, if you're thinking about the R8 or the R7, like buying it soon, I'd probably hold off. Because I think that the R8 and the R7 are about to get a refresh. So for anybody that's interested in buying a new R8 or R7, I would hold off this year. Not because, you know, you're going to want to buy the newest one, but when the new one comes out, the old one goes on sale. So I'm primarily a Nikon shooter, but I'm currently experiencing other systems. Yeah, try Canon, try Sony. They're all good, man. Good to know. Thanks. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so anybody buying an R7 or an R8 this year, this calendar year, just wait. Just hold off, because the worst feeling in the world is buying something that you spent your hard-earned money on that you think is like top tier, top of the line, and then within like 4 months a new model comes out. You know what I mean? Does footage shot in Rec 709 on the Sony FX30 look different from footage shot in S-Log 3 and then converted? I've never tested it, but I would say so, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. You'd have to like test them side by side. Do you have a Canon? I mean, a Sony, excuse me. I have a Sony myself, and I've never tested it like that. That'd be a pretty decent test though, but I also don't do a lot of color grading. And a lot of people that do color grading, they probably shouldn't be color grading. And also I shoot mostly Canon, and Canon is like pretty color accurate. One of the reasons why I love Canon. Okay, so we're live on, okay, so we got chat from YouTube. So chat from YouTube is working. What about chat over here? Test, let's see this. And now that one doesn't work. Okay, great. I have an FX30. It looks good out of camera. There you go. Well, bro, if you have the FX30, why don't you test it? You think the APS-C lenses on an R8 will be an issue or not a big deal in photos? I mean, you're going to see in some focal lengths, you're going to see some vignetting. The problem is like the sensor is smaller than the lenses, or the sensor is larger than the lenses. So do you know what that means? I don't even know how to say your name. A12345. You need to get a better screen name, bro. Yeah, it's just a matter of the sensor size. So like, imagine that this is a full frame camera right here, right? This is a full frame. So you used to have an APS-C sensor. So if I take this, imagine this is the back element of a lens. This is the back side of a lens, okay? If you cover an APS-C sensor lens with a crop sensor, if you cover a crop sensor with an APS-C lens, the entire element of the lens covers the sensor. But you take this same crop lens and you put it on a full frame sensor, and now you don't have full coverage of the entire sensor. Not only do you get less megapixels, but you get like less like everything. You get less resolution. The image is going to be more punched in. You know what I mean? So is it going to hurt? No, not really. Are you going to be able to get by? Yeah, 100%. But is it ideal? No. And the same thing happens the other way. Like if you have a full frame lens like this one right here, this covers an entire full frame sensor, right? Whereas if you go over here, now the APS-C, now you're covering more of the sensor. AJ, what's up, AJ? How are you? From Canon T6i. Well, see, Axel, that's the exact shit that happens to everybody, man. Is like people start off with a shitty entry level camera from either brand. Either they start with a shitty Sony or a shitty Canon, like the T6i or the Sony A6000, and they're like, oh, this camera sucks, because it does. It's not very good, you know. And then they upgrade, but they upgrade to another brand thinking that that other brand is going to be much better. But they do shit like you just did. Like, you cannot compare a Canon T6i to a Sony A7R5. Like, that is fucking bonkers. And that happens all the time to everybody. And then the people that do that, they're like, oh yeah, Canon sucked. I'm like, no, dude, your decision making sucked. Not the not the camera. You know what I mean? It happens all the time, Axel. I see it like literally all the time. People write off the other brand. And like when I'm making fun and I'm poking fun of other camera brands like Sony versus Canon, I do that shit just to rage bait people, just to get people's like undies up in a bunch, right? Just to like get them all. Bruce, what's up, Bruce? Good to see you, man. Exactly. It's like switching from a Samsung or like a Motorola or like a flip phone to an Apple 15, and then you say, oh, that flip phone company sucked. I'm like, that's not even the same thing, dude. I see it all the time. And like I talk to people about cameras like practically multiple times a week from all over the world, and it's the exact same story. Like, people start with a T5i or a Rebel series camera or an A6000, and then they get an R6 or a Sony A7 IV, and they're like, oh man, that other brand sucks. It's just the way it is, man. In reality though, if you compare a camera to a camera in the same like price bracket and similar like tier, because camera lines have tiers, you know, there's like an entry level, then there's an intermediate, then there's like a beginner, and then there's like, you know, levels to it. And if you compare a camera brand to camera brand across the same price and tier, they're exactly the same, bro. They're exactly the same. There's gonna be some nuance, of course, so don't take what I say like 100%. Like, don't take it to bat. Don't go. What's the expression? Take it with a grain of salt, I guess I'll say. Bruce. Bro, ZVE 10 or 67 worth it? Yeah, for sure. 6700 is sick, dude. Does that apply to the R50V? I think the R50V is the R50V, man. You already know, dude. The R50V is fan-fucking-tastic, dude. It's, you know me, man. It's my most recommended camera of all time, and I think it's going to continue to be that, you know, unless they can come up, because the price, dude, the price is like so ridiculous. Everybody on TikTok, what's up, y'all? Let me know where you guys are from, by the way. How's YouTube doing? I am going live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. Let's see. AJ, also a lesson in life. I will never buy a Samsung again. I'm holding S24 2 years and it's pure garbage. I'm a Samsung guy, dude. I'm a Samsung guy. I've never had any issues with but people like what they like, AJ. You know, people like what they like, man. So I have a Sigma 16mm. Nice, bro. But it's 24 because APS-C. Do you think full frame camera is better? A full frame camera is better than a crop sensor camera, but that doesn't mean that a crop sensor camera is a bad camera. I use crop sensor cameras all the time. I have a ton of them. I can't even get the UI 8.5, bro. Can you imagine? What is the UI 8.5? And then there's medium format. Yeah, and of course there's medium format after that, right? I have this little diagram here. Oops, hold on. I think this is equivalent to medium format over here. I don't remember why I had drawn this, but I have all of the sensor sizes here, and like, you know, when people complain or argue about sensor sizes and shit, I show them this diagram. It's like, my cell phone can do what your camera does. I'm like, no, it can't. This right here is a cell phone here, a cell phone sensor. this little rinky-dinky thing. And then here is these are more action cameras right here. 1-inch sensor, APS-C, Super 35, and then full frame right here. And then we have the medium format, which you can tell. I would say that a medium format camera is better than a full frame sensor without a doubt. Haha, I love the cell phone art. Exactly. It's like you guys are on some shit. Like you guys are just saying stuff. You know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. At the end of the day, we're just having fun, dude. We're just having fun. I saw your short saying the R50V is better than the ZVE2. I agree, but you must got some interesting. I did, Bo. I did. You know what's even funny, Bo, is that I own both. Where are you, Bo? Are you on YouTube? Vertical. I own the Sony ZVE10 II, and I also own the R5. I own 2 of these cameras. So I say stuff like that, man, just to have fun with people, man. Just to have fun. Seeing who actually gets upset and stuff, you know. So yeah, I own both of them. The problem, in my opinion, you know, if I'm being honest, the Sony A7, I'm sorry, the Sony ZVE10 II, the Canon R50V is about 95% of what that camera is. 95, 90, like 90%, like right there. But the Canon costs half as much. The Canon is $600. Yeah, the Canon costs $600, and the Sony ZVE10 II is literally $1,200. I think is the latest price on it. So it's like not even. And you got to ask yourself, like, is the Sony twice the amount of camera? And the answer is no, dude. It isn't. Yeah, it's excuse me, it's $1,300. Oh wait, this comes with the lens. Hold on, let me see. No lens. With the lens, it's $1,200. I was like, did it go up in price? No fucking way. Just bought the Nikon Z8. Nice. Hi, I'm between getting a Sony 67 or an A7 IV. I want to do car photography and real estate. I would do the A7 IV for sure. Plus overheating is worse. Eric, overheating, man, is like, you know, overheating is a thing that'll happen on every single camera that doesn't have internal active cooling, man. And like the reason why cameras overheat, think of it this way. Your camera is supposed to overheat because it's protecting itself from damaging itself, right? So when somebody says, oh, the overheating is better on this, I'm like, that's not a good thing. Like, you want your camera to shut down when it's in fucking danger. Like, it's telling you, like, I need to shut down. You know what I mean? So why would I want a camera that shuts down sooner? First of all, your camera, you as the user, the end user, the creative, should know your tools. You got to know your tools, and you got to know in what conditions your camera can shoot it. And if you shoot in a style and in conditions that you know that your camera can't handle, that's on you, man. That's on you, and you don't know what your camera can do and can't do, right? You're asking it to do stuff that it's not physically capable of, right? So the overheating issue thing, I always throw that back at people. It's like, you guys are the idiots that don't know how to operate your camera properly. I can tell you that my cameras used to overheat, but that's when I didn't know shit. You know, the only camera that's ever overheated on me was the Canon R6 Mark I when I had first started doing wedding photographies. And guess what happened after that incident? I learned the limitations of the Canon R6 Mark I. I knew that I couldn't continue to just like hold a 4K 60 for longer than 20, 30 minutes. And then I bought a new camera. Ulanzi does have a really nice fan. The one that I have is really, really good too. Why my videos don't look great on Canon R8? They either look overexposed, so to get dark areas underexposed, get highlight areas. How do I fix it? I shoot in TV. Well, you shouldn't be in TV. You should definitely be in manual mode. Yeah, TV is not for video. TV is a slow shutter speed. So I wouldn't be in TV. I'd be in manual mode for sure. The Sirui lenses aberration much visible. Sirui lenses are cheap lenses, and the lens aberrate they're less quality lenses, right? So yes, there is fringing and aberrations on the Sirui lenses, but they're very cheap lenses. But I get a lens from Canon, you're getting drained. Yeah, because it's better optics, AJ. What's your favorite lens? My favorite lens is probably the 28 to 70 f2. That's the lens that I use the most, and also the 15 to 35. Is the R7 worth the upgrade over the 7D Mark II for aviation? Yeah, it's a newer camera for sure. For sure. What about the R50V? What about it, man? R50V is tremendous. Hey, man. Only the best. Only the best. What's the big downside for the Mark I for real? What was the alternative you got? The downside with the which Mark I, AJ? MQNU, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I'm trying to sell my 18 to 50, but I might have lost the lens cap. You think I can get $50? You think I can get 50 out of it? The 18 to 50? You can get a lot more for the 18 to 50, bro. How much is the 18 to 50? Go to your the lens cap. You definitely need to find that lens cap, because they're not gonna. That's gonna really drop the value like a lot. Yeah, you'll get more. $50, dude. If you get $50 for that lens, if you get anything less than $300 for this lens, bro, I'm not selling it. Fuck no. Yeah, this is a used price right here, and usually you can cut like an extra $150 from it. If you can't get $300 to $400 for it, I'm keeping it. Fuck that, dude. Yeah. I want to use it for streaming and take pictures of my nephew when he plays football. Okay, cool. The R6, you said you can't hold for more than 30 minutes, 4K 60. Yeah, but also 4K 60 for longer than 30 minutes is like a ridiculous, like who does that? Who needs to record 4K 60 for 30 minutes continuous? 4K 60 is like slow-mo. You're doing 4K 60 for like 90 seconds to 120 seconds max at a time to like holding a shot. But if you're continuously recording at 4K 60 is like weird. I own both the R50 and the R50V. I'm struggling slightly with autofocus on the V. Do you notice a difference? No, not really. I'm using the 50 right now. The R50. This is the R50 up here. Are you matching the autofocus settings? And what lenses do you use? It could be the lens too. 28 to 75 Tamron 28 FE. I've never used that lens, but I like that lens. Is the R10 good? The R10's good. Yep, planning to put it on for 450, 500, and get new for 700. Sigma 16. That's my favorite lens. The Sigma 16 is awesome, dude. You say you struggle with the autofocus of the R50V? I never noticed anything. Yeah, I never noticed anything. Care to give a free R50? I do not care to give a free R50. The R50 is cheap, Caleb. Why don't you just buy it, bro? Is the Canon 5D Mark III a good camera? Yeah, it's all right. It's a little bit older now, but it still works. It works great. Have you ever tried a CF Express Type B card? Yeah. The R50 is 100%. Interesting. No, I never noticed any issues with it. I think you might have some settings that might be a little bit different, is my guess. But like side by side, I haven't noticed like the eyeball is nice and sticky. Like the eye tracking is nice and sticky on both cameras. I prefer using the R50V, but the problem is that I use this camera a lot more for work than I do the R50. The R50 lives on my as a webcam for me on my desk. My daughter just got the R10. Anything I need to know? Hell no, dude. The R10 is this is my R10 right here. The R10 is nice, man. Great camera. You did good. Did you buy it for her? Yeah, the R10, she'll probably never need another. She'll probably, how old is she? Lenses are so expensive. Lenses are expensive, yeah. I have a Sony 6700. I have some prime lenses, but I want a budget 24 to 70. What do you recommend? Or should I swap my primes as needed? Do you want a full frame sensor or do you want a crop sensor? Because you can find a decent 24 to 70 equivalent on crop that's pretty cheap. You can get like the Sigma 17 to 70 Tamron, or I'm sorry, the Tamron 17 to 70. That lens is cheap as hell. How about the EOS R? I only recommend the EOS R if you can find a decent deal on it, truthfully. I have a little level with my cameras, but I don't know what is better, R50 or R10. I have big hands. Both of those cameras are really small, bro. Maddie, both those cameras are super tiny. I would recommend getting a cage for either of them, whichever one you decide. But if you can pick one, I would do the R10 for sure. Okay, what are the best lenses to pair with the R50V? I have a, for those of you guys that don't know, on TikTok and on YouTube, it's a pinned comment. I have all of my gear recommendations linked in bio for TikTok, and then I have it as a pinned comment on YouTube. So if you guys are interested in the gear that I use, I own 100% of this gear. And this is all of the stuff that I recommend. So if you have any questions about my live streaming setup, the cameras that I use, the camera bags, the lenses, the filters, the cameras, the accessories, all the shit, I have it all right here. And the lenses that I recommend for the R50V, practically all of the Sigma stuff, dude. All of the Sigma stuff is tremendous. Very, very good. There's also a new Tamron 17 to 70, which I don't own, but I do recommend that lens for sure. I actually needed to check my sales on Amazon because I'm trying this new thing on Instagram and I wanted to see if there was any biters on that. Wow, I think I might have. How many clicks is that? Yeah. So I tried this new thing on Instagram right here, and I just did this yesterday, and I wanted to see if I got any more clicks from my Instagram, like Amazon sales or whatever. And you can see right here that yesterday everything fucking spiked. So I think the Amazon thing is working. I mean, the Instagram thing is working, which is what I was hopeful for. The focus issue I have with the R50V are always with landscape shots, video, never people. What are you focusing on landscape shots, dude? What is your f-stop on landscape shots? Yo, what is better for sports video? What is better for sports and video? R6 Mark I or R8? I think the R6 one is a better camera. Check out the price of a used R6 Mark II, bro. Also, do you own any of these cameras? Zaki? How do you say your name? Zaki? The thing is, like, if anybody's in the market for a Canon R8 or an R7 right now, there's going to be a refresh on those cameras, so I wouldn't buy any of those. I want the Sony A7 III for car racing events. Is it a good choice? Yeah, it's a decent choice. It's all right. Because I'm poor. Well, you got to get your money up, bro. Listen, if you guys are fucking, if people are like, don't have the means, first we gotta have to understand a couple things, right? Cameras, lenses, and all this shit. This is a luxury, dude. This is a fucking luxury that we don't, you know, this isn't a right to be able to afford these cameras. So if you guys are struggling with your means and your earning potential and your income and like your active income, you guys really, it's important for you to focus on other things that it like increasing your value in the marketplace, meaning to either skill up, educate yourself, or learn a new skill, training yourself to like demand a higher income. That should be your focus instead of cameras. And if you can afford a camera and that's the path that you want to take, then buy the best camera that you can afford within your budget and then start learning. Alex, I just got the Canon 16-35 2.8 today. What do you think, Alex? I was thinking about buying the EF version, the 16-35. Recommendation for beginner camera, R50, R50V. Nah, right now I have the RP, but I need more FPS. R6 Mark II is much more expensive. I would look for a used price, man. They shouldn't be that much more expensive. I'm saving for the FX5. Nice Paper Riot visuals. That's great, dude. That's an expensive camera. Congratulations, man. How can I gain money as a 41 photographer? How do you gain money? Well, you gain money through working. Just saving and working, dude. I got the FX30 already. Sick. What lens do you use, Paper Riot? Do you recommend the Canon R50 for a beginner camera? I do. You just got to keep trying. That's it, man. One of my most beautiful beaches in America, so lots of landscape stuff. Got it. Yeah, so what do you, like, what is your, like, if I'm taking landscape, dude, if I'm taking landscape photos, I'm never with a shallow depth of field. I'm usually like at what, F4, F5.6, F2.8. Like, I'm pretty high, and like I have my focus set to like, to infinity. You know what I mean? I'm not really focusing on one thing. So I don't know what kind of autofocus issues you're having, and why don't you touch the screen to focus on what you want? R50 overheats way too easily. Is there any way to overcome that? Yeah, you can get a little fan. What codec are you shooting on? SRPXT? What is your what codecs are you in? What recording codecs are you using? I love it. The only downside is it's quite heavy. The lens is quite heavy, but no one books me. Yeah, well, you gotta improve your social media, you gotta improve your marketing, you gotta improve your website. There's a million things you can do, Caleb, and you gotta get out there, man. If your shit sucks, then your shit sucks. The reason why you're not getting booked is because you don't have the skills yet. Any lens budget friendly recommendations for the 6400? The Tamron 17-70 is pretty nice. F2.8, that one's nice. I have 5 prime lenses. They're all Sirui Nightwalker. Yeah, those are nice, dude. I have 5. Mine are the Sniper. The Sniper series. They're pretty nice. Pretty nice. I got them on sale. What is your biggest pet peeve when it comes to clients? Good question. Biggest pet peeve when it comes to clients. I don't like it when clients don't know what they want. So if you guys ever get a client that tells you just do whatever, that's a red flag. So I don't like when clients, also when they don't have time to invest in laying out what the creative should look like. Because clients that do that say, do whatever you want, or we trust you, 90% of the time, it's going to be a bad experience when you start delivering your stuff. Who here in the chat actively works with clients? Can I get a thumbs up emoji for people that actively work with clients? Do those have autofocus? Yeah, they do. Noah, you work with clients? Nice. Colorado Prime Homes. Colorado Prime Homes, can I guess that you do real estate? Let me ask you, man. We had some real estate questions here the other day. Without getting specific or as comfortable as you want to get, as specific as you want to get, what is the going rate? And I know it depends. But just on average in your area, what is the cost of a single home after you've delivered it, like the package? Noah, what kind of clients do you take on? Does the 1.8 even do much on a 16 millimeter? I feel like the bokeh won't even be noticeable. I'm using 1.4. I'm using 1.4 on this camera up here. I think that's 1.4. It should either be 1.4 or 1.6. 1.4. I'm sorry, 1.8 or 1.4. Yeah, 1.4. So this camera up here is a 16 millimeter f1.4, which I guess is kind of like a 24 millimeter equivalent. So like, and also this down here, this is a 1.8. So you can kind of see if you compare them apples to apples in terms of the bokeh. It's like the 1.8 at 24 millimeters full frame, in my opinion, is a little bit more. I don't know. What do you guys think? Forward Photography, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. My video prices are low, 300 photos. Yeah. So it's crazy. I've never met you, Colorado Prime Homes. If you've been here before, I apologize. I don't think I recognize your name. Yesterday, I said my educated guess was anywhere between $250 and $400 is what I would charge for a fully developed, like a fully delivered project. That would include like some video, a video walkthrough, basic video walkthrough, and basic photos of the interior and exterior. And I said $400 and I'm happy. 2 hours maybe on the job, maybe 3 hours on the job, and then I'm out of there. Let's see. If I transfer from a Nikon D50 to a Canon EOS R, do I have any recommendation of lenses? Depends on what you like to shoot, bro. Thank you, sir. Much help. Appreciate it. You got it. Zillow 3D 150. How do you do the Zillow 3D stuff? Is that just a 360 cam? I haven't really found a niche yet, but mostly. So Noah, same question to you. Just, you know, I know it depends, but just generally speaking, if you can give me a range of what you charge per client on delivery, just roughly. I do the same thing, mostly ads and local businesses, restaurants, cafes. I do a lot of event coverage and stuff like that. Event coverage is super easy. Donald Q is getting blocked. Over on YouTube, you guys are quiet today. What's up, YouTube? Where's Donald Q at? I'm an apprentice full-time at the moment, so I don't have time to do it full-time yet, unfortunately. It's all good, man. What accessories should I get my R50V other than a rig? It depends on what you're doing, bro. Yes, 360 cam. Is it easy to do? Is there like a program? I've seen people do that, but I know that it requires a 360 cam. Can you do it with an Insta360, or do you need a special 360 camera? If so, how much does that camera cost? How is the ZVE10 for talking head content vertically? Great, bro. The ZVE10, I would prefer the ZVE10 II. I prefer the ZVE10 II, I should say, over the original ZVE10, but it's great for talking head. Pair that with a nice lens and you're set, bro. Yeah. By the way, if you guys are brand new here and you haven't followed my Instagram account, please consider doing so. Really appreciate the support over there. Over there, you can see a little bit of some of my actual work. On TikTok, I really don't post much of my work except like TikTok shop videos and stuff like that. On Instagram, I share a little bit more of like actually like paid work, paid projects that I do for fun and stuff like that. So if you guys aren't following me on Instagram yet, please do so. I would really appreciate it. I've been getting crazy numbers these past weeks. Crazy for me, I should clarify. Hey bro, which one is better to film and take trip photos? Sony ZV-1 or the A6000? I would is the ZV-1 a fixed lens? I think it's a fixed lens, right? I mean, if you want to keep it simple, just get a little point and shoot like the ZV-1 and just be on your way, you know? 100 to 500, I'm horrible at charging prices. That's about what I was gonna guess, dude. The problem is like small businesses, bro, don't have a lot of income to spend on marketing. Yeah, Insta360 works perfect. I ran a Sony A7 IV for an event. I love the low light cape. Yeah, for sure. That's the one thing that I am envious of Sony is their low light capability. That's about it, but usually I'm working in controlled environments. Thank you. That will be my start in this niche. Nice. I still have, by the way, also, if you guys create content, make sure to send me your videos, whether it be a DM or tag me in them so that I can I can check out your guys' stuff. Whether it be YouTube videos, TikTok videos, Instagram Reels, send that shit my way. I still have my EOS M6. Do I need to upgrade? I'm just a hobbyist. Nah, bro. Not at all, man. If you're happy with your M6, use it. Just videography and landscape. What RF lens should I get other than the 16mm? Just videography and landscape. The 16 is, what camera do you have? The R50V? Probably the 24mm. That would be nice for video. That one's a really nice lens. Sell my 6400 while it still holds value? Probably. Are you in the market for a new one? Or keep it forever, man. Fuck it. Give it away to somebody, you know, like a family member. Unless you need the cash, like, I hope to learn something from you. I have R6, R50, Rebel T7 getting hard getting business and models. You got to have a portfolio, man. Some advice before buying the M50 Mark II. Get an EF to EFM adapter and use EF lenses. What's your Instagram? I'll go follow. My Instagram is the same name. Everything's linked in my bio. All my links are up there. But I have the same name across all platforms. Let's see. Events and hobbyists, both photography and videography, that much better. FX30 or 67. Events and hobbyists, both photography and videography, what's much better? The FX30 is a much better camera, in my opinion. I guess at that point, it depends if you need a viewfinder. Does the 67 have a mechanical shutter? I think it does, right? No longer do videography, photography since I had my son. I feel like it's just cash sitting around. Why don't you document and photograph and videograph your family, bro? Again, if you need the cash, yeah, definitely sell it. But like you having a son and you having a family, dude, it's a perfect excuse to use your camera, bro. I would be like documenting, creating videos about their life, like their whole life. Prime ATL, what's up, man? What's goody, bro? Did you get that OBS stuff sorted out? Also, Prime ATL, if you're still in here, man, I've been loving your videos about the just hang it up. That shit is so funny, dude. That shit is so funny, man. I kind of drew some inspiration from that on some of my recent videos too, where I'm just saying something directly and then cutting the video. Yeah, I kind of did. Thanks to you. I got you, bro. I got you, man. Happy to help out any way that I can, even if it was a small bit. But yeah, some of your videos they crack me the fuck up, bro. Good lens for the R10. Depends on what you're doing, John. What are you trying to photograph? Video? What are you trying to do, man? TMV, do you want to see my car photography? IG, I can rate it. Is that David? David, I only do portfolio reviews and Instagram profile views on YouTube as a channel member. So if you happen to be a channel member on my YouTube, this goes for everybody. If you're interested in reviews, portfolio reviews and stuff like that, you got to be a channel member on my YouTube channel. The way that works is I can see whether you're a channel member, and if you happen to see me live, you basically just prompt me as like, hey, can we do a portfolio review? And if you're a channel member, then I'll stop what I'm doing in mid-sentence and review your stuff live with everybody else watching. So that's the way that works. I got plenty more on the way. Keep going, bro. Peace and love. All right, Prime ATL. Thanks for stopping in, broski. I appreciate you. Sony A7C2. Legit, bro. You will be doing weddings and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Good lens for the R10. For weddings on the R10. Oh, bro, this lens right here. This is the Sigma. By the way, guys, I have everything in my link in bio. So if you guys are on TikTok, I'll show you. If you guys are on TikTok and you go to my profile, my link in my profile picture, you just click on my profile picture. I have a link in my link in bio. And in that link, I have a little Amazon button right here. This little Amazon button takes you to all of the gear recommendation that I have. What's cool about this list, in my opinion, is that I own literally like 98% of all the shit that's in here, meaning that I've personally used it with my own gear, with my own kit. I have everything categorized from my live streaming stuff, my cameras, my accessories, my lenses. If you're looking for a lens for wedding for the Canon R10, the lens that I recommend, it's a little expensive, but it's probably the last lens that she'll ever buy. This guy right here, it is the Sigma 17-40 f 1.8 art lens. It's expensive, totally worth it though. If you can't afford that, that's out of your budget, I would probably do this one, the 18-50. Also, I don't own this lens, but there is a RF Tamron 17-70 that just came out. This lens right here, this one is really nice. A little bit cheaper. It's a little bit less quality optically. It's still great though. You know, still pretty great. Frank, somebody in here called Frank. I think I just got a message from somebody. Many years ago was involved heavily in photography, art, black weight, digital age. Now moving to Seattle, interested in landscape, street. Where to start? Thanks for offering your expertise. Looking forward to it. I'm selling consultation calls on Instagram, and somebody just booked a call from me. Looking forward to it. Oops, my bad. Dominic Aviation, should I get an R10? Probably the R10, bro. Breeze, what's up, Breeze? How are you? Can I ask you a question? Yeah, Joe, what's up? Should I get a ZVE-10-1 or should I look for more? ZVE-10-2 at least. Should I buy the Sony 70-200 f4.2 or the 70? I would go for the 2.8. R10 comes with an 18-45. Yeah, John, but that lens is awful, dude. The 18-45 is the kit lens. It's a variable aperture lens. It's pretty awful. R10 or R50? R10. What nationality are you, sir? What kind of fuck-ass question is that, Chili Charlie? I'm human, Chili Charlie. Thank you. Could you send me the link to the one you recommend? You could just go to the link in bio that I showed you, bro. It's right there on my page. Polixas, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Yeah, I have all of the links listed right there. Why do you think the R6 III is better than the A7 IV? Because it's a Canon, and Sony is worse than Canon. Canon is a better brand than Sony, just flat out. But that's about it. Pretty simple reasoning. And why do you think Canon is a better brand? Because it's number one. Canon R6 Mark II. Canon R6 Mark II is legit. In truth, though, the Sony A7R5 and I'm sorry, the Sony A7 V and the Canon R6 Mark III, both of them are great cameras. Both of them are great cameras. So just pick one. Pick one, go with it, and then move on. I'll take a Nikon over Canon for photography, but Nikon fell off. Yeah, I saw that Nikon is in a little bit of trouble, dude. I saw that Nikon. Well, Nikon bought Red, and I think that was like their Hail Mary. Finally used my R6V the other day. A beast. R6V is a beast, bro. Are non-IS lenses bad? No, not really. M6, not R6. M6 is an old camera with an old mount that they don't make lenses for. It's all right. Recently bought a 6700, looking to buy a Tamron. Still a newbie. Nice, bro. That's 17 to 70. Hosea Jr. Is that how you say it? Hosea Jr. That's a nice combo, dude. What do you think about the Fujifilm X-T30 Mark III? I like the X-T30 Mark III. I've got a Canon 2000D and a 55-200 USM lens. I've had pretty good photos. Good for you, Matthew. Good for you. Hey, bro. I blind buy the new Viltrox 55 Evo. Can you tell me what's good in it? No, I can't tell you what's good in it. I've never used it. It's probably fine, bro. Did you buy it for Sony? Yes, bro, Jose. Yeah, I saw that. Hosea Jr. Yeah, it's the 17 to 70 Tamron is pretty legit, bro. By the way, there's 14 people here in TikTok and a couple people over on YouTube. If you guys are brand new here, welcome in. My name is Vic. We're just answering as many questions as possible regarding cameras, content creation, lenses, lighting, all kinds of stuff like that. If you guys are interested in the gear that I recommend, I do have it linked in my bio. If you'd like to check that out, all you got to do is go to my page on TikTok. I have this pinned on YouTube, so it's easier to find over there. But just hit on the link in bio. I have a little Amazon button here, and then this takes you to all of the gear that I recommend. So if you're interested in this live streaming setup that I got going on here, or you're interested in the PCs or the lighting gear that I use, or any of the cameras, lenses, accessories, I have that all linked right in my link in bio. Is the Canon mirrorless EOS R okay for photography? Yes, it's okay for photography. Yeah, to Sony. Yeah, I mean, you let me know, man. Do you have the lens already? Uncle Bob. Hi, sir. My company just bought the Sigma 17 to 40. Now, even if I got no money, I can still use it. Nice, bro. I got the T3i and the 55. Should I upgrade body or lens first? I would probably get out of the Rebel series sooner than later. Mike D8, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Hashtag Sony gang. Hashtag Canon squad, bro. Show me the sales data for the last 10 years. Show me the sales data for the last 10 years of consumer cameras. Brands worldwide. I think Sony just has better marketing, or they put more money into like marketing, you know. Also, Sony, in my opinion, Sony's like a cooler brand. Like it's a more hip brand. Honest opinions on the 67. 6700 is a nice camera. I wish that they had dual SD slots. But that's about it, dude. 67 is legit. It's a legit camera. What is the best RF beginner budget lens? I got the R6 original. I like the 35 millimeter, the Nifty 50. You can't go wrong with that. The 45 millimeter f1.2, that one's really cool. That's all budget. The 24 is, it just depends on what you're doing though, bro. All of the STM lenses really are pretty awesome. Show me the best camera for night and skin. Canon. For night, I don't know people's fascination with like shooting in low light environments, man. Again, it's like it's a different style of shooting. I get it, you know, people want to like improvise and just shoot random stuff, but like if you're doing like professional video work and like commercial work and stuff, you are always 100% working in controlled environments. So for the person that's just like a random snapper, you know, that takes snapshots and takes clips of uncontrolled environments, I guess, you know, but skin tones, I think all cameras really produce decent skin tones. Is it still worth to buy a 6400 or should I say for the 67? At this point, I'm probably gonna not talk about this. I mean, think about the 6400. Also, the 6700, I think is due for a refresh. Is the Canon R100 good? It is not. It is not good. The Canon R100 is buns. Yama, what's up, Yama? How are you? Hi, which camera are you using? On TikTok, this is a 24 millimeter lens. Calex, what's up, Calex? So I'm looking at some, I just typed into Google what is the market share for camera brands worldwide over the past 10 years. And the market share for Canon right here, I don't know if you guys can see this, is 45% for Canon. Sony has 24% market share. And then the rest of the brands, Fuji, Nikon, 8%, Panasonic, Ricoh. And then I was reading right here, like the main reason why Canon has such a high market share is mostly because, you know, so they're number one in sales worldwide for the past 10 years. I think it's actually true for the past 25 years. But their bodies such as the Canon EOS R50 and the R100 and the R6 series. Sony holds 24.6%, and most of their sales come from the latest FX series of cameras and full frame bodies. Yeah, so businesses all have like different goals and different purposes, but You know, when I often say that Canon is number one, it's because Canon is the most sold cameras worldwide. And it's my opinion that consumers and the market and a company's survival is based off of what the consumer wants, right? So us as the consumer, even though we might be upset with some of the business practices that some brands might do over another brand, we as consumers, we get to vote with our dollars. And if we extend that over that, like, we vote with our dollars, meaning that our attention goes to the better product based off of how much money we're willing to pay and how many people are willing to pay that money. Canon is number one by a lot, by double almost, at 45.7%. Good, man. Usually over here on TikTok, trying to go back to YouTube more. Okay, bet. Lumix X9 or S9 or ZVE. The Lumix S9 is a full frame camera, isn't it? I don't know. What are you using it, Emmanuel? I would probably, like, if I'm not, I don't know nothing about you, I would say the ZVE-10 Mark II, but it just depends on what you're doing. Calex, thank you for the heartbeat. Appreciate it. Considering the R10 or the 6700 for nature landscape photos, I would choose the 6700 in that situation, Sam. Wait, okay, so my mom left my camera in the car since Sunday. Do you think it's cooked? Nah, you'll be all right. I recently been asked to shoot a wedding for some good friends of mine. This would be a first. Still shooting with a DSLR Canon camera, Canon EF lenses. I was looking to expand my lenses. What lenses do you have, Yama? I think if you have like a 24-70 or 15-35, you're good, bro. Filmmaking. I would do the ZVE-10 too, bro. Best APS-C camera, bro. R7. Canon R7 or the 6700? I bought a Sony ZVE-10 Mark II and Sony 15. Is it a good set? You tell me, man. You tell me. What do you think? Which camera and lens are you using right now? I'm using a Canon R8. It's been hot in Philly. It's been kind of chill in Philly, hasn't it? This weekend was pretty nice. What time is it? It's... $88.87 for the past 2 days. She left it. Yeah, I mean, you left your camera in your mom's car. You didn't, she didn't leave it. You did. Did you say 17-40 for the R10? Yeah, the 17-40 f1.8 RF Sigma. That's the one that I have right here. This is a dream lens, especially for the crop sensor, the APS-C line. This is a really, really nice lens. What's your opinion on the 5D Mark IV? I like the 5D Mark IV. Those things are monsters, dude. They're big. My opinion is that they're big and bulky and heavy and dense. Like, they're thick. ZVE-10 flash sync. Yeah, ZVE-10 too, though, is not a photo camera. It's a video camera. She was picking it up for me. It was her response. It was not her response. Whose camera is it? Whose camera was it? The owner always has responsibility, Calyx. Take ownership, buddy. Do you have a fan for overheating problem? In the cameras that I use continuously, they have active cooling, but I do have a fan that I keep in some of my backpacks. that is like a universal fan. It's from Ulanzi. It works pretty nice. I'll see if I can find it real quick. Oh, here it is. I use this little guy. 40 bucks. Works great. This is universal, so it fits most cameras because it has a little wedge thing and it has a little thermal thing on it, so pretty nice. Yeah, this is the one that I like. A small rig makes a couple. There's a couple brands that make this, but I like this because it's the other ones you need to put like some sort of frame in there that is unique to the camera. This is universal, so it wedges in. The one thing that I dislike about it, that it isn't a very secure fit, meaning that like for whatever reason, if your camera bumps, this will fall out and fall to the ground. So it's not like perfectly on your camera. But in my opinion, it's pretty decent. I have it here somewhere. So for example, if I have this camera right here, this R50V that doesn't have active cooling, what I can do is I can wedge this in here and then turn this on, and it should just like start spinning. And it has 2 speeds. So it just works pretty good. And again, like if I'm using this, like this will definitely like fall out, like if I really force it, right? So it's not the most secure thing in the world, but like this is meant for like emergencies, right? Like if your camera is overheating and stuff, this thing should help and keep it cool and set you up for like more stuff. But again, I can take this off of this camera and then I can put it on my Sony if I wanted to. Again, another camera that doesn't have active cooling, but it fits right in. Where other brands that are for like active cooling and stuff like that, or like fans like this, they have like this little case thing, which again isn't like super ideal. So that's what this thing is. 40 bucks. Rube Dog, what's up, Rube Dog? First time here, welcome in, Rube Dog. You made it to the party. Rob Riffs, what's your experience with that fan? It's just that, you know, it's in a pinch. It's in a pinch. That's what it's for. Is YouTube chat working? I don't know. It should be. Let's test it. Test. Yeah, YouTube people behave a little differently. They kind of like stay quiet. Rube Dog, thank you for the follow. YouTube vertical horizontal is not working, but there's nobody over there anyways. Yeah, so that's me right there. So YouTube vertical is working, but YouTube horizontal is not. There's one person over there. YouTube vertical, there's 2 people over there. TikTok, there's 11 people. I have the R50V and constantly been having issues with it, but I wasn't sure about the Ulanzi. I mean, what are you recording in? Like, what is your environment, Pablo? The problem is, bro, that truthfully, man, any camera that doesn't have active cooling is gonna overheat on you, man. That's just the way that it works, you know. Will the 18-105 be enough for all around? Yeah, it should be fine. The ZVE10 good for aspiring filmmaker first cam? ZVE10 2. Is your YouTube chat working? I think I answered that. Check my comment on YouTube, or I can stay on here. Breeze. I don't think I saw your comment on YouTube. I don't see it though. Lena Barbie, what's up, Lena Barbie? How you doing? I had just picked up some Mic Mini bundle. Would like to start making short form. Do it, bro. Fuck yeah, man. Any tips on getting started? No, just do it. What are you using? A cell phone or your full frame camera or a proper camera? What are you using to record? The Mic Minis are great. I like the Mic Minis a lot. You make sure to EQ them on your cell phone. What's the product? Is this on the screen? It is a, we were talking about a external fan. So what we were saying, Lena, is that I have one of these. I recommend it. These are little devices that you put on the back of your camera in the event that your camera's ever overheating. And all that you do is you just place it in here. And these fans, are they going to totally solve your problem? No, not 100%, but they do work really well. And they're for like emergency situations. So say, for example, you're like at a wedding or at an event and this is stuck on a tripod and it's recording continuously. You grab one of these, you keep this on here and the thing will never overheat on you because this works really, really well. So it's just a little active fan. And it's universal. So it's universal because it like clamps on with this thing, but it's not the most secure thing. So I was just commenting on that, adding some comments to that. Zion SL, thank you. Welcome, bud. How could I make my 70D plus 55 STM crop quality better? Probably get a better lens, man. For people that are looking for higher quality images, it's usually the lens, man. It's usually the lens. Alex, thank you for the follow, Alex. Appreciate you. What camera would you recommend for a photo booth? You know what, bro? Gab, people have asked me about that before. I see, I don't know because I don't do photo booth stuff, but I would buy, I've seen people use the Canon R100, just the cheapest, most modern camera that they can get. But I don't know the limitations or like the cable, what cable you need to like hook it up. So I don't know more details, but I do know that there's one guy that comes in here from time to time and he has a business as a photo booth guy that like he sells them and rents them out to like events, and he uses Canon R100s. I got the Sony Rube Dog. I got the Sony A7 IV, Ray-Ban Metas Insta3. Bro, you got everything you need, man. Yeah, you got everything you need, man. All you got to do is just go. I create content every single day, dude. Every day I make content. So you just got to get into the groove of it. Gab, thank you for the follow, Gab. Appreciate you. I do wish that camera manufacturers would make cameras that have better. They have the best that they can, man. There's a lot of processing going on in cameras. That's the thing. Yo, bro, is Sony A7 IV and Sigma 150 good for sports photography, or is there anything better? There's definitely a lot better, but that's good. That's a good combo, A7 IV and the Sigma. The 150 to 600, what I see about the problems with those is the autofocus speed, but I think you'll be fine, dude. I have the R50V. Does the Tamron 17 to 70 with its VC make a big difference? Yes. Yes, it does. It's not like a world of difference, but it definitely helps you, Roski. Andrew, what's up, bro? Like I said, first time here. Do you have a video about your workflow, editing, etc.? So Rube Dog, I make content across Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and I think that's it. Facebook, I just copy and paste. But make sure to follow me across those platforms, and I help out, and I'm also live a lot. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask, man. I'm here all the time. Should I buy a Nikon D3000? And how much is it, Alex? I appreciate all the tips. Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, this little live Rube Dog, this little thing right here that I do, this is like a help desk kind of thing, where basically I spend 2 hours out of my day try to answer as many questions as possible. So depending on the people that come in and people leave and people ask questions, that'll like dictate the conversation. But also I do, I don't do this all altruistically. Like I do funnel people to my Amazon storefront so that they can see the gear that I recommend for so that they can make a purchase on that. But essentially, my YouTube channel, it's all free information. $250. $250, Alex. I don't know, man. I don't really think too much about purchases below $500, dude. So if I was you, I would not be spending $250 on such an old camera. Is the 17 to 70 is just so expensive compared to the 18 to 50? Yeah, it is. The 17 to 70 also, it's not that much more expensive, dude. I think the Sigma glass is better, but the reason why I don't own the Tamron 17 to 70 is because I also own the 18 to 50. I use it on this camera right here. This is the 18 to 50 right here, and that is this that's this lens right here. So like I can zoom in and zoom out, so it's pretty decent. Like it's a decent lens. I really like it a lot. But the reason why I don't buy the Tamron is because I don't really have a need for it. I will buy it one day, but it's $700. Not that much. Corby, bro, suggest camera. Canon EOS R50 or R10? R10 for sure. For sure. For Sony 67, Tamron 17. By the way, of you guys that are in here in TikTok, how many of you guys are not following yet? If you're not following, please consider doing so. I'm trying to get to 12,000 followers on this account. Really appreciate your support. What do you recommend as a street travel video photo do-it-all camera lens? What's your budget, Erland? What's your budget? If you got a decent budget, you can get whatever you want. But let me know if you have a limited budget. We'll have to do some digging. But if you have a pretty good budget, we can get you something set up, bro. What is your interest? What is your interest? I'm new and would like to start a conversation. A conversation about what, Commander? I have FX30 as main, but I want to get the R6V as main and use the FX30 for BTS. What do you think? I would probably stick to the same camera brand, Ismail. So if you already have the FX30, I would stick with Sony, bro. Amind, thank you so much for the follow. Erland, thank you for the follow. Corby, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you guys. I have 3,500 USD in budget. Okay, and you want to do basically everything, right? You want to do you like small form factor cameras, Erland, or do you mind how big the camera is? 35 is a great budget. If I had $3,500 and I wanted an all-around decent lens, I would get something like the R6 Mark II or the A7 IV, and I would buy like a 15 to 35 millimeter lens. Done. And that should be pretty close to 3,500. For someone with an itch to start making short films and a little bit of photo journal, is the 18 to 50 okay? Yeah, the 18 to 50 is plenty, dude. 18 to 50 is really nice. I really like the Sigma 18 to 50. 100%. It's significantly smaller too. What about the R8? The R8's nice. I'm using the R8 right now. The R8 is pretty good. 24 to 105 f4 on the R8 would be really nice. Yeah. How does the 100 to 500 sound for my R5? Great, bro. The 100 to 500L, monster. I would, if I was you, Roski, I would save up for the 17 to 70. Truthfully, man, that's what I would do. What's good for school events? R10, both are great. I would choose the R8 though. Yeah, I don't mind the size of the camera. I have big hands. Yeah, so also you got a lot of options, bro. You got a lot of options. So 3,500 is like what cameras are you currently looking at, Erland? Let's start there, because you have a great budget that you can choose pretty much anything. And I need you to understand, Erland, not sure how old you are, but you got to understand that when you want everything, when you want a camera that does everything, this goes with everything in life, right? But when you want something that does everything great, you're going to have to pay a premium. And even though $3,500 sounds like a lot of money, in the camera world, it really isn't shit. As a beginner, though, $3,500 is a great budget to get you started. But you might run into some compromises that you will need to be okay with. $3,500 sounds like a lot because it is a lot, but in the camera space, that shit ain't nothing, dude. That shit ain't nothing. Jay, thank you for the follow, Jay. Does the R8 have image? It does not. Trav, thank you for taking the time to assist, educate some newcomers to the camera. I got you, Trav. No worries, man. That's why I'm here. If you guys are brand new here and haven't followed yet, please consider doing so. I'd really appreciate that. Also, if you are new here and you haven't followed me on Instagram, please take a second to visit my Instagram page and drop a follow. I also create content over on YouTube if you guys are interested in long form videos. I got my YouTube channel over there as well, where I share long form content. I haven't been making videos on YouTube this past month, but I'm jumping back on it today. So I do have a bunch of content over there. One video at a time, man. One video at a time. I have a friend with an A7 Mark III with a 20-75 from Tamron. The reach and the bokeh is amazing. Yeah, that's a monster camera though. I have looked at the R6 III since it also has open gate. I like how Canon feels in my... Yeah, Canon ergonomics does feel good. With $3,500 though, the R6 III is probably going to take up all of your budget. I do have a lens that I recommend. I own the R6 Mark III. Great lens. I mean, great camera. If you have the R6 Mark III in your eye, it's a monster fucking camera. Monster camera. You're going to be right at the end of your budget. So I would recommend after that, checking out something like this lens right here, either the 24, the 35, or the 45, or the 50. These four lenses right here are really, really fucking good. That should get you really close to 3,500, and then you can start thinking about like more specialized lenses. But any of these four lenses right here is going to be great to get you started on. Even the 28, somebody is, yeah, you might like the 28. The 28 millimeter is also really nice. If I could only have one of these, I would probably do the 35. Yeah, the 24 millimeter. I'm using the 24 millimeter right now. By the way, all of this stuff that I just showed you, I own all of this gear here. Like I own probably 98% of this gear. Some of this stuff I sold already. Like I sold this lens right here, the 24-105. But yeah, there's tons of options. Canon is expensive. Cameras are expensive. Cameras are expensive. So Yama, I've been asked to shoot weddings. I'm still using DSLR lenses. Looked at a 24-70, both prime. Looked at 24 and 20, both prime. What are you saying, Yama? Sir Knight Rich, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. But the L glass seems expensive. I like video as much as photo. Yeah, I would do the 24 or the 35. You influenced me to get that R6V. Nice, nice. R6V is legit, bro. You can't go wrong with that fucking camera. That camera's sick. I would stick with Canon for sure, Erland. Fuji's cool. Fuji's a little different. Nikon is definitely a no-go for me. R8 versus C50. What do you think, Ked Mano? I've got the R6 Mark III. It's a beast camera, dude. At first, I was regretting getting the R50V instead of the ZV-E10 because of the lens ecosystem. Never mind. Okay. Would you recommend the R6 more than... Yeah, 100%. 100%. Also, bro, I mean, check out the Lumix S5 II or the Lumix S1R. Those are great. Those are great. It's a completely different ecosystem with a different lens mount system, so that has its own problems, but those are great cameras, dude, the Lumix. From what I've read, they're good for that type of shooting. The 24-70, yeah, for sure. I'm gonna buy the R6 III. You won't be disappointed, dude. The R6 III is legit. It's a big camera, though. Have you gone to a local camera store, Ireland? Are you still just eating rice and beans every day, bro? Every day. There's a new camera coming out next month, so I'm on that rice and beans. Saw this video today on B&H website. What you think? I think it's overpriced. The core power base. I don't know what that is. What is it? It's like a case for like connecting your power and stuff. I've never seen anything like it. It looks pretty intense. I think for people that need it, for people that need something like this, I think it's pretty appropriately priced, dude. You could probably make something like this, but $749? Fuck no. I think for people that need something like this, I think it's right on. I felt like Canon was like more a glove in my hand. The Sony has no go in my hands. Yeah, Canon, you know, people say that Canons are ugly, but I think that they feel really nice in your hand. What purchases have you regretted? The Canon R100, but it wasn't really that much of a regret because I make videos about the Canon R100 and it's pretty fruitful. I like the look. The Nikon ZF is cool. That's a sexy camera for sure. It's a box. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I think I mean, it is expensive, but for somebody that needs this and needs something like this, I think it's appropriately priced. Do I need something like this? No. But somebody that does, they'd pay $700 for this. Hell yeah. Does it come with all the batteries and shit? I don't like that it's proprietary. It would be better if you can use your own batteries and stuff. The fact that it's its own battery packs is kind of a bummer. How long have you been working with videography? Since COVID. So 6-7 years now. 6-7.
Chargers are everywhere on set. Different battery types, cables, power strips. It adds up quickly and gets messy fast. This is where PowerVault replaces all of that with one system. In this video, we will break down what PowerVault is, what it does, and why so many people are asking about it. PowerVault is a mobile charging and power distribution system.
It's expensive.
Production.
I don't think it's overpriced though.
It replaces multiple chargers and brings your entire power workflow into one place. You can charge multiple different battery types simultaneously.
What I don't like is that it's proprietary.
Devices directly. So now you don't have to deal with chargers, cables.
But you could make this. You could buy you know what though? You could buy something like that. You could make something like this and it would probably cost you more money to make it. You know what I mean? It's a neat idea if it was an open system. But if we have to use its own batteries, its own cables, its own like bullshit, then that's a bummer. But if you decided to make this for yourself, you would probably be spending about $1,000. You know what I mean? If you had to start again from zero, what would you look for in a camera kit? Oh, bro, great question, Roski. If I were to start over, dude, there's two things that I would buy. I would buy the Canon R5 Mark II. Like if I had to rebuild everything and start over and rebuild it to where I am right now, the R5 Mark II and the 28-70 f2. I would scratch and claw until I got that combo, and then from there I would build everything back. I read a Canon Rumors who made an article about market share. Shocking to see Nikon. It's not shocking, dude. Nikon is really dropped the bag. I was just looking at that article, or I was looking at this, so I just used AI and I told it to give me the market share for all camera brands worldwide in the past 10 years. And Nikon has just fallen down, dude. You know, Canon is growing, Sony's growing a little bit, it dipped a little bit. But yeah, and Fujifilm leapfrogged Nikon. So yeah, man, it's business though. It's the way it goes, dude. Why not just get something like an EcoFlow instead of the Power Vault? I don't need something like that. Like, you know, I try to keep myself as organized as possible, but something like that is like for like working professionals. You know what I mean? Also, I still love my Blackmagic Pocket 4K. I have bought a 16 from Panasonic part. Nice, nice. Is this the end of Nikon? No. I don't think it's the end of it, but they are seeing a lot of market share loss. They need to market better, dude. They just have really poor marketing. They recently acquired Red. What was it, 2 years ago? They acquired Red, and I thought that was like a Hail Mary. I was like, they have to do something. They have to get into the hands of more people. But the thing is too, like, when you look at camera brands sometimes can be like industry specific. So like one industry will all use Nikon, one industry will all use Sony, another industry will all use Canon. There is some bleed between them, right? Like there is some overlap in some of them, but like when I think of Nikon, I think of like nature photographers, and I think of Indy 500 race car photographers. Whenever I see like at a racetrack, everybody has a Nikon. Like the majority of the people have Nikons. So have you ever seen a movie set or a commercial shoot where the entire team is using Nikon cameras? You know, it's just the way that it is, man. So again, these are massive businesses that make decisions that are best for them and their like stakeholders. So that's why I never feel bad for any camera brand specifically. You know what I mean? Yeah, like Studio TV use Blackmagic. Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, and one of the things, because I'm such a fucking nerd, is like when I am watching TV or watching an event, sometimes I'm watching the event, but more often than not, I'm watching the people that are producing the show, and I'm looking to see what camera they're using. And like, if a company is producing something, it's very likely, almost a guarantee, that all of their camera people that are manning the cameras are all using the exact same system for obvious reasons, right? So if you see somebody holding a Sony camera, chances are that the entire production team is using Sony cameras, Blackmagic cameras, Canon cameras. What I do see from Fuji though is Fuji makes those box lenses. Have you guys ever seen those box lenses? Those are the ones that are used like in box lenses from Fuji. Those are the lenses that they use at like sporting events and stuff. These things right here. Look at this. This is $250,000. So I do see Fuji lenses on camera bodies at games and stuff. Dynasty, what's up, Dynasty? I own a Fuji. It's an X106. I only like, you know, I prefer full frame cameras, truthfully. What up, dog? I did my first wedding with the Lumix. Nice. How was it, Dynasty? Let us know, man. Yeah, Miss Anik. So that's also true. Like, so not only are cameras like niche specific for like a type of, you know, niche and like the covers that they do, but they're also regional. So like in the United States, that might be different. In the Netherlands, that might be different. In Europe, that might be different. In Japan, they might use something different. So they're also, not only are they niche specific, but they're also regional specific too. It was wonderful. I was scared as fuck. Good, bro. When you're scared and you're nervous about doing something you've never done before, it's a good sign, man. It's a good sign. I gotta lower this thing. Hold on 1 second. There's too much light coming in. It was wonderful. I was scared as fuck. Yeah, that's good though, man. Being uncomfortable and being nervous to do something brand new is a good sign. It's a very, very good sign. We got taught on the Ursa G2 with Canon television lenses in school. Yeah, I also did recently learn that there are some colleges and universities in the United States that are using and giving away to their film students Canon cameras. So that's another reason why cameras, you know, like Nikon, would Nikon ever sponsor a college or give them a deal? You know what I mean? So that's all marketing. That's all marketing. You know, if a film student, if a brand new film student, like a 17, 18-year-old film student gets a Canon R50V for their filming, like to use and to have for their like filming course or their filming degree, bro, that's crazy awesome, dude. You know what I mean? Like that student is either gonna forever be loyal to Canon and gonna really learn the system really well from, like, you know, the university. But I don't know, it's just a really good idea in my opinion. There is one study in the US that gives one-year film students the A7 III for their course. Yeah, I mean, they're different schools do different things and stuff like that, but somebody was in here the other day and said that they're a film student in the USA and their college gave them R50Vs. And I was like, fucking right, dude. That's incredible. That's incredible, because the R50V is a fantastic modern mirrorless camera. Is the Nikons that much behind in terms of quality, or the market share says? It's not the quality, dude. It's just people just are voting with their dollars and they're just not choosing to go with Nikon, you know, but they make great products. You know, the new Nikon ZR is a great camera, but it's just not doing well in terms of sales compared to the rest, you know? But they needed to do something. So like the Nikon ZR just recently came out, maybe last year or 2 years ago. This is a $2,200 camera, and this camera is phenomenal. It's the first Nikon Red camera. So they're trying things, dude. They're trying things, but people choose and vote with their attention and their money. You know what I mean? More and more of my peers recommend Sony. Yeah, that happens too, man. That happens too. I feel like Canon is still number one. Sony's getting a lot of love as well recently. The thing is, man, it's not about your feelings. It's not about your feelings, bro. It's about the data. You know what I mean? And the data, there's no emotion involved in this. right? Like you cannot argue with numbers when it's very, very clear. Global digital market camera share by brand, and people right here, people are choosing Canon over Sony worldwide. And in fact, Sony has dropped by almost 4% this past year. Lumix is down here. Lumix is at 4%, dude. Lumix and Panasonic right here, 4%. It's just what it is, man. Again, also, do these numbers mean that those camera brands are bad? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, but what this means is what people are choosing. Like, people are choosing to buy Canons over Sonys, and that might be a good or a bad thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a worse or better camera, but I often say, like, Canon is number one because it's very obvious, you know? I think that if you add up the bottom four, it still doesn't equal 45%. Let's do the math on that. What's the math? Let's get specific. So let's do 24.6 plus 11.8 plus 8.9 plus 4.4. So if you add up the bottom four out of the top five, you get to 49% market share, where Canon alone has 45.7. What's this emoji called? The guy that's like, what do you want me to do, man? What do you... Yeah, the ZR is great. Yeah, for sure. I personally only recommend Sony. Yeah, and that's, yeah, right. And that's fine too. I think, again, Andrew, you know this as well as I do, is like, I think Sony just does a brilliant job of marketing, dude. Their marketing is cooler. It's more hip. It's more trendy. That's just that's my opinion. But I think overall, though, it's my opinion that it's more hip and more trendy. It's not my opinion that they do a lot better job at marketing. I'm saying that as a stated fact, that they just do a better job at marketing. I'm saying that as a fact. I think Lumix is number 3 or 4. Damn, Jamie, Canon is number 1, dude. I think that you should look at the lenses and your style of filming more than the camera body and decide what body. Exactly right, man. Yeah, Roski. That's it, bro. I don't know. What do you want me to say, man? I see more marketing for photography from Nikon than film compared to other brands. The thing is, dude, Miss Sanique, like, I see nothing in the United States, dude. When is the last time I saw a Nikon commercial? Actually, who's here in the United States? Who has ever seen a Nikon advertisement? I'm trying to think back. I like Nikon. I've seen plenty of, even like if you think of YouTube. If you think of YouTube, do you see a lot of Nikon content creators? Most of them are Sony, dude. Most of them are overwhelmingly, most of the big names are using Sony. What do you think of the Nikon ZR? I like the Nikon ZR. Again, this isn't about their this isn't about the quality of their product, because it's just the only thing that, you know, what was it recently that Nikon went up to space? Like, bro, they should have done marketing around that fucking for like, they should have milked that forever, because Nikon was being used up in space. They were using like an old, like a 20-year-old Nikon. I'm like, dude, if I'm Nikon, I am milking the shit out of that. You know what I mean? Like, we go to space. Yeah, Whoopi, the thing is too, at that level, at the Z9, Z8 level, like that's another tier of cameras. How much is the Z9? The Z9 is like what, $6,000, right? That's like a top end, top tier camera. Oh, my bad. $5,000. Yeah, this isn't an entry level camera. At this level, there's not that many people buying this camera compared to like the $1,000, $2,000 level. So like most of the sales of the general public for all camera brands live in between the $1,000, $2,000, maybe $2,500 if we're stretching it. That's where the majority of the sales comes from. And at that bracket right there, it's my opinion that, well, it's fact that people are choosing the Canon brand at that price bracket versus the higher end. Top 5 brands according to Google. Canon followed closely. It's not close, bro. It's not close. Canon is 45 and Sony is 24. It's literally, it's almost double. It's quite literally almost double. Leica is still queen. Leica doesn't have to worry about anything though. FX5 is my goal, but camera work will pay for it. Yeah. FX5 is a great goal, dude. Yeah, man, I have news. I bought the Elgato Camlink 4K starting today. I'll make videos the way you say. Nice. You're just gonna record straight to OBS? Is that what you're saying, Andrew? Yeah, it's so easy, dude. It's so easy. Do you have an SSD? I'm sure you do. I would route the OBS recording. So route your OBS. So OBS can record to any folder on your computer. What I recommend doing, just so that it's less of a burden on your hardware, is just set the OBS file location straight to an SSD, and that way it'll record straight to an SSD, and then you can edit off of that same SSD, and it's just a lot less of a lift on your hardware. So just route everything to OBS. Oh yeah, I use my R50V. Bro, I get the exact same thing, man. I do a lot of meetings from this desk and like from others, and when people see my camera quality, they're like, what the fuck is that? Like, yeah, I kind of do, but I do that a little bit of a twofold. It's kind of like a perceived value kind of thing, because if somebody's trying to hire me for visual media, which is what I do, I want them to see that, hey, this guy can produce a nice image. But there's also value in knowing how to set all this up too, so this could be packaged as well. One of the things that I want to try to do is I've always got a million ideas of trying to make money, right? One of the ideas that I have is I work with lawyers and attorneys. I want to help attorneys that are non-technical, that might not be technical or care to work with cameras and stuff. I want to like package a gear list or like a course focused on attorneys that shows them how to set up their cameras and all this stuff, with like a gear buying list so that they can set up their workstation in like premium quality. Because I know that attorneys often, depending on the kind of attorney that they are, they do press releases and they also do interviews from their desk. And a lot of times these people are using like webcams and stuff. And if they have a desire to like elevate their presence in their community, they want to have like a higher quality image. Is very important to attorneys. And I'm learning this because I work with attorneys. Image is everything to an attorney. Anyways, I say all that because I'm kind of thinking like of another little angle here. Oh yeah, Sony 67 and Sigma 16 for face cam with OBS Elgato. Hell yeah, dude. Captain Sahin, that's great, bro. That's a little overkill for a webcam, the 67, but it's gonna be brilliant, dude. And that lens, Sigma 16, I'm using the Sigma 16 right now, actually. Right here. This is the Sigma 16 millimeter up here. Yeah, the mist filter is really nice too. 1.8. Yeah, bro, that's a great setup, bro. You killed it. They say Nikon uses their limited ad money and focusing on professional photographers, and that's why there are not many ads. That makes sense. That makes sense. But I think that, you know, are they interested in making money? Because their market share is just very, you know, it's just, again, those businesses have a right to run their businesses the way that they see fit, right? I've got some RGB lights in the background. Yeah, tube lights. Tube lights are really, really nice. That's what I have. Tube lights everywhere. Most of mine aren't turned on, but I have tube lights all over this this studio. Chris, thank you for the follow. Chris, which one do you recommend for tube lights? What tube lights do you have? A lighting ecosystem? Are you inside of a lighting ecosystem? Who's asking? Is that Captain Sahin? If you are already in a lighting ecosystem, my recommendation for you is to stay within that ecosystem. Does that make sense? But for lighting, where's my lights? Here we go. I've got some Philip Hughes and some nano leaf panels on the wall behind me. Well, my point is, like, in this room right here, I have two lighting ecosystems. I wish I had done one. I have Zhiyun and I have Viltrox. And I wish that I would have stuck with one of them. But in my living room, I have Aperture, so I'm using Aperture lights over there. My point is, see if they have a lighting, the tube lighting available for the ecosystem that you're currently in, whatever that might be. If you don't have a heavy investment into a lighting ecosystem, I would recommend Viltrox, Zhiyun, or Aperture and Amaran if you can afford it. But generally speaking, like, my recommendation is to, like, stay within a single ecosystem per room, ideally for the entire studio. Chris, thank you for the follow. At IBC, they did have a big booth to last 2 years. Went to Curious to see, and they do this year. I've got some Philips. Okay, lens for the Canon R50, bro, for travel and lifestyle. 18 to 50, or the Tamron 17 to 70. My one biggest issue with camera creators is that outside of us, many creators make people think that switching camera brands is realistic. Yeah, switching camera brands is a big. It's a big hit. It's a big loss. And the thing is, Andrew, you know as well as I do, bro, is that these camera brands, you know, it's fun to pick. You know, you and I take jabs at each other for Sony versus Canon, but it's all in good fun. And I hope that people don't take it too seriously. But in reality, camera brands ebb and flow, man. 1 year Sony will be top dog. The next year Canon will come back, and it'll just come back and forth. And, you know, and that's good for the consumer at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But at a high level, if you have a big investment into one brand, just stick with it. Whether it's a Sony or a Canon or a Nikon or a Fuji, like, if you've made a heavy investment into one ecosystem, unless you absolutely must switch, don't switch. What flash should I buy first? Outdoor night portrait with a Sony A7 Mark II. Any flash from Godox would be fine. I love the Nanlite Pavo tube lights. Those are expensive. I use, instead of the Pavo tube from Nanlite, I use the Aperture and Amaran lights, and those are pretty nice. Those are pretty nice. Not to get too off subject, but memory card. Yeah, memory cards are expensive. Carly K, thank you for the follow, Carly. I switched from Lumix to Canon and I regret it. Lumix was amazing. Why did you switch? Lumix, the S5 II and the S1, those are all nice cameras, dude. Yo, YouTube is not working on your social stream. Yeah, I did notice that. YouTube vertical is, but YouTube horizontal is not for whatever reason. I don't know why. No, I'm not seeing YouTube horizontal, but nobody's been over there today. More people have been on YouTube vertical. By the way, Andrew, I stopped doing the multi-stream, and now I went back to 2 instances of streaming on YouTube because there was less visibility on the vertical stream than there was before. So now I'm running 2 instances of YouTube, and I'm back to like getting like right now on YouTube vertical, I have 202 views versus before I was only getting like low double digits, like 20, 30 views. Yeah, so I switched back over. And yesterday when I was streaming Grand Theft Auto, I did the same thing and it bumped my views again. So until YouTube fixes that, which YouTube's been on a tear recently, dude. What I saw, listen, Andrew, you might like this, dude. Netflix is doing a decent job of poaching all these creators for original content and moving over to Netflix. And I'm like, oh man, what an opportunity, bro. What an opportunity. I'll try that. Yeah, you just need the sufficient band, you know, just be wary of your hardware limitations. I posted that to my story. Did ya? Yeah, I saw it just recently because I was wondering, I was like, why is YouTube making all these moves? Like, what's going on? And like, I just did some very surface level researching. I was like, Netflix is taking a lot of creators and making them exclusive creators on Netflix. Bro, if Netflix does a upload, if Netflix adds an upload button and does like UGC content creator stuff, bro, they're gonna give YouTube a run for their money. You know what I mean? YouTube is gonna have to make some crazy positioning moves. I switched because everyone was telling me how amazing Canon was, even though it is. Lumix made me feel like one of a kind. That's funny. Lumix is good though, but again, unless you have a very entry-level investment into a camera brand, I don't care what brand you are, just stick with what you have. Unless you have just one camera and like a couple lenses, just stick with what you have. It's my opinion that switching at literally almost at any point is not a good idea. Kilobyte, thank you for the heartbeat. Appreciate you. Netflix is adding that, so is Disney Plus. Lumix on top, bro. Lumix is literally not on top, but Lumix is a decent brand. They have some nice cameras. Yeah, if Netflix adds a upload button, dude, and you can upload your own stuff, I don't know how great it would be on Disney. On Netflix, it'd be something possible. Because Disney probably has a lot of like, who knows? But I'm just talking out loud here. I have a GH5 and Mikey 16 cinema lens works well. Yeah, sure. I'm not saying it wouldn't. I'm not saying Lumix is bad, bro. What do you think about getting the 18-50 and the 85 instead of the 17-70? The 85 f2? That's more money than the 17-70. Yeah, the L mount, right? The L mount for Lumix. That's the one thing I hear about Lumix is like everything is great on them, but their lenses is the L mount, I think. And I don't know much about the L mount. I'm looking at filming outside with a Blackmagic Pocket, but I need a monitor that can handle it. What would you recommend? I heard that Atomos or Blackmagic screens. I think you just need something with like a lot of nits and a sun hood, really. Lumix S1 II. All of the latest Lumix have open gate, bro. Even the S5 II. And actually, a lot of Lumix crop sensor micro four thirds cameras have open gate. I have an R6 Mark II for sports. What's a good second camera? What do you want it for sports? Are you trying to go up or are you trying to go down, Fred? Like in terms of the camera, like are you trying to add an A cam to your lineup or are you trying to add a B cam to your R6 Mark II? I would get a Blackmagic Pixis for a Blackmagic. Does the R1 and R5 II have the same autofocus system and stack? I don't think they have the same stacked sensor because the R5 Mark II has a partially stacked sensor. You'd have to double check me on that, Luis. Yeah, up. Oh, you're trying to go up? So the R6 Mark II would be a B cam. Are you trying to do more photo or video? If you're trying to do more photo than video, I would probably go with the R5. That's a big jump too. Also, the R5 II is getting a little older now. But you could probably get a really nice deal on a R5 Mark II, a used one. If not, if that's too high, I would either do the R6V if you're doing photo or an R6 III. Or hell, maybe even an R3, bro. It depends really on your budget, man. It really depends on your budget. On R3 would be sick, especially if you're doing dedicated sports. Fuck, that would be sick. An R3 for sports, that's literally what it was made for. But R3, man. I'd be looking at an R3, man. Gerald, there he is, brother. Yeah, I think the R3 is it, man. Yeah, and also the R3, let's look at the price of an R3 right now. Because the R3 is dropping in price because ooh, look at this, dude. $3,200. I think the R3 is also about to get a refresh as well. So that doesn't mean, hey, you should get the R3 Mark II. But what it does mean is that the R3 original Mark I might drop a couple shekels. You know what I mean? I have the R5 II as my baby. Carly, I thought you didn't like your Canon. The R5 II is my baby, dude. The R5 II is phenomenal, dude. Phenomenal. Yeah, bro. R7 and R8 car photography only. I'd probably do I don't know, man. Are you doing this professionally or are you just doing it for shits and giggles? Android won't work with Blackmagic app, both photo and video. Vic, I tried to film some football and racing. My focus was slow. How do I speed up focus to catch and track? Inside, you're using the R6 Mark III, right? You have different autofocus speeds. Also practicing, Gerald. You need to practice a little bit and go out more and test out these autofocus speeds, because the R6 Mark III has like different case modes. I think I forget what they're actually called. Use cases for the autofocus speed that you got to like dial it in. And then when you dial that in, make it a custom mode on your camera dial. Should I get the R6 III or R5 II when it comes to file sizes? Big files would slow my delivery time. Not really. Not really, because you can, once you deliver your photos or you export your photos, you can deliver them in like smaller file sizes. In terms of file sizes, the concern really, Luis, is more about your machine, your computer at home. It will slow you with that, but not necessarily like sending them to a client. I would do, if you're laser, if you're doing professional work, I would do the R7. But I've been telling people that if you're in the market for the R7 or the R8, that I would probably wait this calendar year and just see if Canon comes out with a new R8 or a new R7. True, I need the practice bed. Yeah, so that's my advice, Gerald, is to get out to I mean, heck, even if you're just out to a local park, or like, you know, it's not like a big game or anything, but if you go to a local park and see if there's a calendar for like a softball game or a t-ball game, just anything low pressure where you're just out there testing your features, and like testing the conditions and settings on your camera. I would spend some time testing that. Just go out on a specific weekend and see if you can find a local game somewhere, you know? Stop by Crimson. What's up, man? They have servo speed and something else. No. In the I don't have my R6 with me, but there's different cases, and then you can also adjust the autofocus speed and the snappiness of it. Also, you can adjust how fast it attaches to another player, another athlete. Any disadvantage of going Capture One over Lightroom? I've never used Capture One, so I don't know. I've only ever used Lightroom. The only time I see people using Capture One, though, is for like professional studio headshots and portraits. Got you, because I'm sending live pictures during the game. If you're sending live pictures during a game, Luis, then you probably should be, you know this, if you you should be in JPEG, dude, right? So even at JPEG, the small file sizes are really, really small. When you reviews photos, would like some feedback. Luis Photo. So I do reviews and portfolio reviews for channel members over on YouTube. And the way that it works is basically like, if you happen to be a channel member on YouTube, basically if you happen to see me live, and this works better because it kind of eliminates the riffraff, because people will just come in here that I don't really want in this community, in this gathering of people that I'm collecting. Why that works better is because if somebody comes in and I'm doing like this help desk and people say, hey, I'm a channel member, can I get a review? I'll stop what I'm doing and we'll do a review live. And that's a much better experience, in my opinion, than opening it up to like everybody. It's just been my experience that it's not a very fun time for me, and a very good experience for everybody else. In my opinion, it's not the kind of crowd that I want to attract. I am thinking, though, of maybe once a month just doing a free portfolio review for everybody. But those things, I don't know if you've been here for the old ones, it gets pretty crazy. And I'm here till like 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. But that's the way that works. That's the way that works. And if you're not interested in becoming a channel member, then there's a donation button over on YouTube as well. Like a one-time kind of thing. And again, it isn't because I need the cash or anything like that. It's more to like keep the lives under control and stuff like that, or keep the reviews under control. Thank you for asking, though, Luis. Thank you for asking. So if you're ever interested in that, let me know. Also, from time to time, for the OGs, because I'm pretty good with names, and if I see somebody is an OG and has been here for a while, like Andrew, if Andrew comes in here, I'm sure he's in here right now, and he says, Vic, can you check out my latest video? I drop what I'm doing and we look at it, because Andrew and I have been going back and forth and been supporting each other's work for like, how long has it been, Andrew? Like 6-7 months now? At least since December, right? Shot by Crimson, thank you for the heartbeat. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I rented out a Canon EL5 yesterday for my R6V. What's an EL5? Is that the flash? I also learned trying to video football is not easy. He should be shooting in JPEG. Yeah. Filming a football game isn't easy, dude. There's a couple things, bro. Isn't like going out and doing things such a much better learning experience than like conceptualizing these things in your mind and not actually getting anything done. Like if ever I want to do sports photography and I want to learn about sports photography, I go there. I go out there, and I'm not going to get a mastery of it obviously in 1 or 2 games, but going out there, you find out like, oh shit, like this camera can't do what I wanted it to do, or like I need to do X, Y, and Z, and then you progressively get better. But thanks for sharing that, Gerald. It's 100% true, bro. You learn a lot. You learn a lot just from, I'm jealous of Andrew. Gerald, you're an OG, bro. You don't ever share your stuff, man. Also, we look at your photos all the time. What are you talking about? I hate when people spam after you've already reviewed their page to check out the rest of their pages. It happens, man. It happens. Plus, we got the same B-Day. Yeah, we do. Yeah, you've done some reviews for me and gave me some good feedback. Yeah, I got you, Luis. I got you. Yeah, so you've seen how crazy those live reviews get. I also have a tendency to do them when I'm near a goal. So like right now I'm trying to get to 12,000 followers, and like I have 400 more to go to get to 1,100 or 11,000. So maybe when I'm at like under 200 to go, maybe I'll do one, because the requirement for those is that you have to be following me across all pages. So I don't know, man. But again, the ones that ask for people that are the ones that can ask are the channel members. And if you do a donation over on YouTube. Again, I hate pitching that because it sounds like I'm begging, and it's really not the case. Like I'm really not begging for anybody to take any kind of action, but that option is available for those people. Let's see. Speed light. Yeah. Or close to it. I'm December 9th. Yeah, I'm December 1st, 1989. Yeah, so much better. Frustrating, but better. Yeah, bro. Yeah, and you learn about your lenses, your gear. You basically learn what you don't know, you know, because there's so much that we don't know that, I don't know. It's just a good thing. That's why, Gerald, you've heard me say this several times to many people, like, what should I do here? I'm like, or what's your best advice for a new photographer? I'm like, my best advice for a new photographer? Go outside. Go outside and use your goddamn camera. Photograph for the next 30 days straight and edit for the next 30 days straight. Go outside, take pictures every day, and come back and edit every single day. Do that for 30 days and holy fuck, dude. You're going to be a completely different photographer than you were before. My stuff is in Instagram for the world to see. Yep. Yeah, that's where I host my stuff to, Instagram. What do you shoot mainly, like weddings or sports? I do freelance photography, so whatever people hire me for. Haven't been hired to do any sports photography, but definitely have done wedding, commercial photography, social media videos for brands and stuff like that. Pretty easy stuff. But all right, boys and girls, my 2 hours is up for the day. I appreciate you guys stopping in. Once again, if you guys are brand new here and haven't followed this account yet, please consider doing so. I am outie. Adios.